that you see right there. But first, it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Todd Schoenberger. He is back with me on set right now. I've got Phil Flynn in the trading pits of the CME. Adam Shapiro standing by up in our newsroom today. Talk about a good today, everybody. Coca-Cola and PepsiCo both out with earnings. They beat the street this morning, but Todd, you are strictly a Coke guy. I understand this, but look at this, Todd. If you compare the two stocks over the year, Pepsi is outperforming Coke in the last 6 months, 3 months, 4 weeks. Do I need to continue here?
It's amazing. It really is. But let me tell you something. The human being drinks 16 drinks per day. Of that, 2 are Coca-Cola products, and this is worldwide. PepsiCo just announced today that they're laying off 3% of their payroll, 3% of their payroll, and they're going to spend $500 to $600 million in marketing in North America. What's that all about? The reason why Coca-Cola is so great is because of their emerging markets presence. They're seeing volumes increase in Thailand and China, everywhere else. I don't hear that about Pepsi.
And with all the headlines and the talk about splitting up PepsiCo, then why do you have the stock up 10% in the last 6 months?
I don't know.
Why are people just selling it?
The number one soda out there is Coca-Cola. Number 2 is Diet Coca-Cola. It's not even Pepsi. Pepsi's not even in the top 2. They should just spin off Doritos. It's a Doritos company. That's all it is.
Yeah, a lot of the street want them to split up the company. We shall see. All right, Phil, you've got the bad today. Higher energy prices are hurting the Pentagon's effort to trim their budget. Really?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Cheryl, the Pentagon has been trying to cut back costs. They're under a mandate, of course, by Congress to rein in spending. But higher oil prices is not making it any easier. Just consider this. The Department of Energy is really the biggest oil consumer in the world as an entity. You know, unless they're a country, they're consuming more than anybody. And last year, they spent $17.3 billion on petroleum in 2011. And there's a concern, of course, with the way oil prices have been going lately, that if prices continue to rise, you know, that they're not going to be able to make their budget cuts. Now, right now, of course, people in the Pentagon are saying, listen, energy is the least of our concerns right now. We're going to do what we need to do to defend the country. But at the same time, it means that if you're not cutting money on energy, you're going to have to cut somewhere else, and probably a very bad sign going forward.
But what if oil prices actually fall? I mean, how fast do they realize the gains from that, or the losses, I guess, if you will, and the spending goes down? Because it was a huge, it was a 23% jump from last year, their spending was.
Well, you have to look at, you know, they have to buy for the long term. It's not like they can pull up at the Shell station with 50 tanks and fill them up, okay? They get into long-term contracts with this type of situation. So they're going to be more sensitive to these price spikes, and a lot of these prices that they're buying today are locked in not only for this year and the years in the future. That's one of the reasons why the military's been looking at alternative fuels. They're testing jets with ethanol and everything else. They're trying to find a way to lower those costs.
Ethanol. Oh, there's that word again. All right, Adam, you've got the really ugly. All right, so we know California's in deep financial trouble. We all know that. But this is going too far. LA fining people if they play Frisbee on the beach?
Well, Frisbee and even throwing different kinds of footballs and other balls around. But Cheryl, here's what's going on. They have an ordinance in Los Angeles, and the county's board of supervisors, LA Board of Supervisors, says that this will no longer be allowed. It's not allowed right now, actually, because they'll allow volleyballs and beach balls. In designated areas, you can have a football, but if you throw a football or you throw a Frisbee during the beach season, you can be fined up to $1,000. Volleyballs and beach balls are okay. Frisbees, footballs, and other kinds of balls not okay. Water polo balls in the water are okay. Are you exempt from having to pay that $1,000 fine? Between Labor Day and Memorial Day. So,
okay.
It just...
This seems ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I mean, Todd, are they going too far? Look, we know that they've got budget issues, but isn't this just a way to get revenue in California?
Of course it is.
Cheap way to get revenue.
Oh, of course. I'm surprised they don't charge people to go onto the beach.
That's next.
Yeah, that's next. This is ridiculous. Throwing a Frisbee. That's part of the whole experience of going to the beach.
Phil, they wouldn't dare charge me to throw a Frisbee out at Lake Michigan, would they?
No, not at all. But I'll tell you this, you know, I was thinking about this. Maybe it's not such a bad thing. You ever see these guys playing Frisbee on the beach? I mean, come on. Maybe they're a little bit undesirable. You know, some of them look like they're in an altered state anyway. And they get the dogs all excited. You know, the dogs start jumping up and down. They're going to hurt something. You know, I don't know. I'm going to give this more
but guys, keep in mind the ordinance. It's been on the books since the 1980s. They've had it around since the 1980s. They just increased the fine from $500 to $1,000. And the argument for it is you don't want to have these pickup football games that interfere with people who just want a suntan and trampling on them. That's the argument for it.
I'm going to leave this with,
defend the
yes, I have
sun
seen the guys on the beach in California. Not bad.